A breakup can be a traumatic experience which leads to a lot of pain, a lot of emotional pain. In this video, I'm gonna explain how you can feel better, not in 1 month, but today we're gonna deep dive and understand the neuroscience of heartbreak. We're gonna use the work of Helen Fisher to help you move forward, help you feel better right away. Jingle.
igetmyexpac.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, I just want to talk about the expression falling in love. I find it very interesting because when we talk about falling in love, we imply that we can't control what's coming to us. We fall, we don't choose the partner, we just fall into their arms, right? And from a neurologic point of view, it's the same. It's something we can't control. And that's why breakups are extremely difficult, because as you can't control them, you're a bit lost, confused. That's sometimes the people would say, like, I'm confused, I'm lost, I don't know exactly what to do next. Breakups, we'll discuss in a minute, affects the chemistry in the brain, and sometimes neural pathways. I'll detail a bit about what it is in a minute. And so understanding the neuroscience of heartbreak will help you regain control. You might be feeling that you're lost, you're confused. In this video, I'm going to give you the tools to understand what's going on. I'm going to use these 2 books as a reference for this video. Dr. Helen Fisher, who's done some of the largest studies on couples and breakup. I would highly recommend Why We Love and Anatomy of Love. Very interesting books, which are not necessarily about breakups. So if you want to read something else than breakup, they are quite interesting. So what happens in your brain when you're in love? So the regions in the brain rich in dopamine light up. Okay, so then we create the condition to get our dopamine intake on a regular basis. The part of the brain used to fear and social judgment operates at a lower rate. So when you're in love, when you are in this infatuation stage, high dopamine and low in terms of social judgment and fear. The neural pathways, so it's basically kind of the road accessing between neurons responsible for negative emotions, will shut down during a romantic love. Okay? So it's very much like when you're in love, you tend to use only the pathways that are positive and you forget the pathways that are negative. Okay? But when you break up, then there's an abnormal activity. Things start to shift immediately in your brain. And the reward motivation part of the brain is completely shattered because we don't get this dopamine intake. We start focusing on the negative aspects. We start getting scared. And so there's a direct link between social rejection and withdrawal from addictive substance. i.e., love is like a drug. And when we remove drug from someone who's a drug addict, the brain chemistry, the neural pathways are a bit shattered. They're completely confused, they're lost. So she says, romantic love can be a perfectly wonderful addiction when it's going well. So you don't see that it's an addiction when you're in love with that person. It's when we remove that person from your life and perfectly horrible addiction when it's going poorly. Okay, so that's what's going on right now. You were addicted to a product, to your partner, and by having this sense of rejection, you feel the withdrawal symptoms of someone who's addicted. So treating the breakup, and I like this approach, this philosophy. I'm really in line with this philosophy from Guy Winch, he's psychologist, who wrote a very interesting book about breakups. The idea that breakup should be treated as a normal sort of mental health problem. People would take days off when they lose a parent, when they lose someone, but when they break up, after a breakup, society would disregard people suffering from a breakup. I guess you're watching this video, you don't want to go to work, you have, insomnia, depression, a lot of anxiety. But you're never going to go to your boss and say, like, I want to take my week off because my partner broke up with me. It's very hard, but at the same time, we looked at the beginning. It's a physiological response to feel this way. It's totally normal. It's part of a grieving process. It's a different, you can argue that it's different than losing someone, losing a parent, losing a grandparent, but the reaction in your brain, in your body is the same. And you can also say, or if you look at some studies about looking at brain scans, it's a similar activity than the physical pain that is activated in your brain. So let's treat the breakup as we treat a broken bone, right? If it's a physical, how we deal with physical pain. If it's the same areas in the brain that are activated, how do we do it? So we apply logic. Avoid visual reminders of your ex-partner. That's why we go no contact. Because anytime you see your ex, anytime you send something, anytime, and I would say no contacts, unfollow them from social media. Don't block them, but unfollow them from social media. It's a little bit like you broke an arm and the doctor tells you like, don't do anything with your arm, or you injured your legs, like don't run. And after a week you start running, or after a couple of weeks and you're still in your cast, you start playing tennis or whatever. So you need to really let time to heal as well. And the best way to do it is to create the environment and replace. So the imbalance that we discussed in the brain, you have to replace the surges of dopamine with positive activities like exercise. So that's why you have this, if you read women magazine books and other sort of blogs and people online, they'll tell you like, find a new hobby, do some sports. I think I want to explain why it works. It's because you need to create ways for you to get that dopamine, right? Because the way you got it before was solely from your partner. And sometimes people who have a tendency to be more codependent will rely solely on that source of dopamine. So that's why in order for you to rebalance your life, you need to find activities. And exercise or hobby are great because it also gives you a sense of purpose. When we feel our partner was our priority, was the most important thing in our life, and we had a sense of purpose, try to find others, okay? So recalibrate your mind by making also what we call in therapy is a relationship inventory. Look at your different relationships in the past. What were the things that you had in common, the different triggers, how you acted, why this one was different. If you want some details on that, we have a platform where I share all of our workshops, the replays of our workshops that we do with Elizabeth, some courses as well for people to work on their stress, anxiety. If you are anxious or avoidant and want to feel secure, you can find those courses and those materials in the link, in one of the links in the description, where you'll find a framework to do this relationship inventory. Another thing is how you can work through grieving process and get to that acceptance stage. Because it's from this acceptance stage that you will be able to really move forward, really plan. Remember, the pain that you're going through is normal. You're not weak, you're not emotional. That's completely normal. It's coming from the brain. It's coming from the chemistry in your brain. There's nothing wrong with that. So there are ways for you to take care of yourself, and you have ways for you to make yourself better. A little bit like when you stop smoking, you don't want to start drinking. So the way you cope with things, you have to find healthy ways to cope with things. And you can change that chemistry if you use distance, use time at your advantage. That will rebalance the chemistry in your brain. That will make you feel better. You'll start sleeping better. You'll start having normal and healthy eating habits. You'll start to see things positively. You'll be more outgoing. Social interaction as well is very important, whether it's with friends, with a community. So for instance, we are creating a community for people who want to support each other, the ones watching my videos. Counseling is obviously very efficient because if you're stuck for too long, it's really about how you get this accountability, how you can reflect with someone in a structured way to help you feel better. But remember, what you're going through is normal. And the way to feel better is just by, rebalancing those neural pathways and the chemical reaction in your brain. Any question, let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, click on the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know as well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.